Went to start this guy for the first time this year, ran into a problem. It would run great at full throttle, but when I go down to idle, it would die. Today, we're gonna cover two things you can do if you're having idling issues after storing your motor for a long period of time. Both of those, you don't have to tear down the carb. Number one, is I ran a high concentration of seafoam through it, or you could use another cleaner like B12, Chem Tool, something like that. Run it through there and then let it sit for a couple of days, try it again. If that doesn't work, we'll talk about how you can clean the idle jet and idle circuit on this carb without tearing the carb down. Let's look at it. So here is the carburetor. The way this works is, from my understanding, not a pro mechanic, but it's got two circuits. One for when you're running at idle, really low speed, and then one when you're full out max throttle. There's two things you need to look at from an idle, for the idle circuit. This guy right here, and then this guy right here. There's some confusion, and I honestly don't know the answer. Some people say that's the idle jet, which I thought it was, and then other people on YouTube are saying this is the idle jet. There's a brass cap right here. If you pull that brass cap off, there's a screw and a spring inside this housing. Some people say that is the idle speed setting. So obviously if you loosen or tighten that screw in there, it's going to set your idle speed. And one of the reasons they have that capped off is for EPA regulations. Mercury has to cap that off, I think, so people don't start messing with idle speed. So honestly, it's either this guy or this guy. So what I'm saying, so what I would do is I would start with this guy right here. So it's just a flat head. Just be careful because it's brass. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy out first, and if that doesn't work, a lot of people have had great luck by cleaning this guy out and this guy, but I would start with this one because it's easier. Let's look at it. See, there's the passageway. And what we're gonna do is, I've got a twist tie off a thing of bread, took the paper off, so we have has the exposed wire, and then I'm gonna run this wire through the hole here in the passageways. There's one on each side, so that one, and then turn it 90 degrees, and there's another one. So I'm going to run it through there, just clean those out. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Carb Cleaner. This is gum out. You really should do this with gloves and glasses, but you know, that's your disclaimer. I'm just going to spray in there. I'm going to spray down in that hole with a little bit of Carb Cleaner and then let that sit for a while. Now I'm going to put this guy back on. When you're putting this back on, it is brass. You just want to snug it down because it will strip out. Now we'll clean the idle jet. Now we'll test idle performance. I'll start it up in the bucket here and see how she does. If that doesn't work, then maybe want to explore that idle speed screw that is under that brass cap. But if this works, should be good to go. So let's give it a shot. Idle all the way down. It's idling really good. That is it. If you're having idling issues, you don't have to tear down your carb, fully clean it and rebuild it every time. So I would look at those two things. Run some sort of fuel system cleaner through it, like seafoam. Make sure that it gets through all of the gas lines and through the carb. Let it sit for a couple of days and then try it again. If that doesn't work, you can access your idle jet and your idle circuit without having to tear your carb down. You don't need any special tools. You need a twist tie off of a package of bread and a screwdriver and maybe some Carb Cleaner, and that should be enough to get you to where you need to be and to get your idling issues fixed. Appreciate it. Have a great boating season. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.